It's always interesting doing a partner workout because it definitely changes the entire stimulus. Just parked at the gym. We're about to head in for our competitors, RX Plus, kind of actually some team training today too. So it should be a pretty fun one. I wanted to show one of these classes. So we're doing that today. And we are doing some, looks like teamwork. And we do have a team here at the gym that is qualified for semifinals. They'll be at the North America West semifinals. I'll be there too, making content. So that should be a great time. But it looks like we're working in some pairs, I think, to help get the team ready for that. So we're about to do that. I'm actually a little sore from yesterday. We did all of these pistols, and pistols always make my legs super sore. So we will see how today goes. And I hope it'll be a fun one. So I've been asked a couple of times what the difference is between our competitors classes and our regular classes, and it starts right from the beginning of class. The warm-up is mostly self-led. It is put on the board so you know what to do, but you just go through it on your own. It has things like calories on the air bike and burpees to get your heart rate up, but then it also has things to activate your body, like the lat pull downs, the Cuban presses, and these glute bands that we do. So it's challenging and different than a regular class, and we do things like this when we're warming up, which is trying to learn some of these press to handstands and doing some variations of that. Then we go into our skill strength portion of the class, which this day was a dumbbell snatch ladder, and you can see the weights on your screen: 3550, 4560, 5570, 6080, 6590, and 7100. And these people are not me. These are two people who are on our semifinals team, and they are going through this like it's supposed to be done, which is fast, and it's supposed to be challenging, but you're supposed to be moving pretty quickly still. For me, it was mostly just challenging, but I wanted to keep these guys in to show you what it would look like if these were all weights that were within your capabilities. And for both these athletes, they are weights they can do. And the athletes coming up behind them as well are also some of our better athletes, and one of the two are also on our semifinals team. So they are whipping through these dumbbells, even as they get a little bit heavier, still able to move them, and just becomes a little bit more of, sometimes a little bit more of a setup. But for some of them, these weights still look fairly light and easy, and you're just trying to do it as fast as you can. For me, it was, yeah, like I said, different. Just trying to see what I can do and using the lighter weights to get warmed up versus actually trying to finish this. So this is the 35-pound dumbbell for me. You can see me, I'm in the yellow sports bra there, moving through this. The camera that's being set up in front of me here is for a semifinals age group athlete who is about to go right now. So we're skipping from the 35. This is the 55. And when I was warming up, the 55 on my left arm, the arm I'm about to do, was where I failed. So hit it there. So already it was kind of a PR for me. And then I moved on to 60-pound dumbbell, hit it on my right arm, and I was also able to hit this on my left arm and do this for a couple of reps. So this really shows sometimes what being in the right environment can do. Like doing this actually with a class, with these athletes that can get through it, encouraged me to push and to actually be able to do it. In warm-ups, I wasn't able to do it as well, but when it was time to go, I was able to snatch the 60 on my left arm after not being able to snatch 55 in warm-ups. Moving on to the 65-pound dumbbell, definitely the heaviest dumbbell I've ever lifted, and that was my first rep on my right arm, and I hit it. So already it was, a PR and a celebration. Went for the left arm, and Nope. My coach was watching, was nearby. He told me to just do my right arm again for one rep and call it, just to end on a positive note versus failing again. So we went to the right arm again, a little bit harder this time, but knocked that out too. So I was pretty happy with how that went and my improvement there. And this is that semifinals athlete kicking butt in semifinals. on to the actual workout. And this is one of my favorite times to do a little voiceover and talk with all of you, because it gives me an opportunity to get more into the nitty gritty, because this is going to be the whole workout. So there's time to really talk about things and explain why we're doing it, what's going on, and how I was feeling while doing it. So this workout is a synchronized partner workout for a big portion of it. The workout's about to pop on your screen. It's a complete 4 rounds of 3-minute sets with no rest between sets of a buy-in of 9 partner deadlifts, 6 synchro deficit handstand push-ups, then with the remaining time, max calories on the bike until the next 3-minute interval. So you had to sync the deficit handstand push-ups we're doing now at the bottom and the top. In the middle, your movement kind of changed, but as long as it was synced at the bottom and the top, you were good to go with a 2-inch deficit. So that's what we're doing here. I did scale the weight a little bit on the deadlift. It says 170 for the female side. My female side has 155 on it. And I believe the male athlete I'm with also scaled by about 15 or 20 pounds as well. I'm on the bike here now, just chipping away at those calories. And this was interesting, this workout altogether, because this is an athlete I had never partnered with before. I've worked out with him in the same class, but never as a partner, and that definitely changes things. And we were similar heights, and that's the main reason we partnered up, because with that deadlift, similar heights is hugely valuable. So we decided to partner up because he's not too much taller than me, so it allowed us to have a more similar deadlift. But it was still a challenge. And when we get to deadlifts, I will talk about that. The cows, you got to go kind of fast because you have time to rest. So you sort of have to sell out, but then you also have to know when to get off the bike, because you don't want to be going slower on the bike just because you feel like you need to do a certain amount of calories or a certain amount of time. Because if you're going slower and your partner can go faster because they've rested, it's probably better to get off and try to get them on fresher. Unless you're a beast on the bike, and if you're a beast on the bike, then you're probably gonna have to do a little bit more time on the bike than your partner. But we were fairly evenly matched on the bike in comparison to our abilities as female and male athletes. So I am putting my belt back on, knowing that the time is coming up for me to get back to the bar for these deadlifts. I don't know if I necessarily needed the belts, but I just felt with the partner stuff and being on a different rhythm than what I'm used to being on deadlifts, it didn't hurt. And because he was finishing up on the bike, I had the time to put it on, so it seemed worthwhile to do it. So we are walking back over to the bar to get set up for our deadlifts and lifting together. Looked pretty good coming off the floor. And this set actually I think looks better than the last set you saw at the beginning. I think we're getting into a little bit more of a rhythm of working together, which is something you need to do. And like I said, we've never before today worked out really even as a pair, let alone synchronized. So it was an interesting challenge, but I think we did better on this set. Something that was a little bit different about the way that he deadlifts versus the way that I deadlift, he sort of releases his fingers on some of the deadlifts. Maybe you'll see it the next round. And that's not something I'm used to. So you kind of had to stop at the bottom of each. He was also doing strict at the beginning and then realized he couldn't do anymore. So it we had to adjust midway through. And he comes down. I'm already at the bottom, waiting. And there we go. He comes off, and I'm on the bottom, waiting for my next handstand push-up. And there he comes. Yeah, so it was just a little bit different, trying to figure out what we each needed. We went unbroken the last set. I thought we'd go unbroken this set, but we were not able to. So that was something we planned better for in the future sets. But in this one, I didn't know that he was going to need to break him up. I don't think he realized he was going to need to break it up, because it's just the way the deadlift and the bike and the fact that the handstand push-up sort of deficit versus the regular one, I don't think he realized how that was going to impact things. And also the synchronizing changes things too. So we knew after that set that we'd have to break them up, and we were able to work a little bit better on that the next set we went through. And I'm writing down our calories, not that it mattered too much, but I just figured I'd write them down. We had the total calories in the bike, but I figured I'd write down what we got each time just to see how it went down, which it did, how many less we started getting. But you can even see, because we're breaking up the handstand push-ups now, we're just getting less time on the bike, which means we're likely to get less calories and we're more tired. So it all made plenty of sense. But honestly, the biking for me was probably the worst part of this workout. But I'm just not super strong on the assault bike. I don't hate it, but it was not my strongest point of this workout. Probably like the handstand push-ups the best, even with the deficit. I like handstand push-ups, so that was my favorite part of the workout. Again, getting that belt back on because I know I have time to get the belt and get set for this next set of the deadlifts. And I spoke with the coach that programmed this, and he said he chose the deadlift weight, which was 170 on the female side, because it was the same weight as has been used in regionals in the past. So I went a little bit lighter, 155 on the female side, but it is interesting to see that we are using the same weights or similar weights as you would see at a regional or semifinal, at least in the past. So do these deadlifts, I don't know if you can see, but see, he releases his grip each time at the bottom. And I started doing that too, to sort of match his cadence. And that just makes the most sense when you're synchronized with someone else. And he dropped it there, but I was totally fine. We weren't dropping it from the top prior to that on the last rep, so I was just sort of doing what we had done before. And I spoke to him like, let's do 2, because I think that's something we could stick with. And again, you said touch your head at the bottom at the same time, and then be at the top at the same time, locked out at the same time. So we're doing 2s for the 6, so 2, 2, 2, and just checking in with each other. And that's something you always have to do when you're on a team, check in with one another. And you're only as strong as your, I hate the term weakest, but it's true. You're only as strong as the person who is slower at a certain movement. There are certain movements I'm definitely slower at. This is one of my better movements, so I have to check in with my partner to see if they are able to keep going on whatever this given movement in this case. But I like the handstand push-ups. I'm a fan. Back on the bike. Get some more cals. Round 3 of 4. Round 3 of any workout of 4 is a particularly hard one because it's starting to really suck, but you still have an entire another round. What you got to focus on is you're more than halfway through. So, and every rep you get is even closer to the end. So you're getting closer, but you're you can't quite see the light at the end of the tunnel like in round 4. That's what's so tough about round 3. And you still know you have a whole nother round ahead of you, but you just got to focus on the fact that you're more than halfway and you're getting closer to the end. I should be standing up so I get my chest up so I can breathe better, but that was not what I was doing. Now I am. Before jumping back on this bike, I'm going to bike for a little, and then I think I get off one more time, put my belt on while he finishes up the cals for that segment, and I will get set for our last set of deadlifts. I did like this workout. This is a good partner workout because it has a lot of synchronized things, which is a challenge, but it also has something individual, which does allow partners to rest, which is nice because when you're working out with partners, it can be more challenging, even if you're not going as fast as you usually would, because of the synchro aspect in a workout like this one. That is its own mental challenge and physical challenge that tires you out faster than you might get tired doing the same thing on your own. So it is nice to have that little bit of a break there, which allows you to have a breather in the middle of the workout before we get back to these deadlifts. So last 9 of these. And it does work well that we are of a more similar height, so we are able to synchronize and stand at the top and it not be super awkward like it is if you have a really tall athlete and a really short athlete. So moving through our final deadlifts, things are getting tired here and things getting a little bit uneven, but I think we did a pretty good job of trying to communicate with each other and get through these. And now the wall, again, I'm asking him to see if we could still stick with the 2s for the set of 6 and knock out these before getting back to our final calories on the bike. So 2s still looking pretty good, synced at the top and the bottom, even synced coming down there actually. But again, it's just like a mental challenge when you are with a partner versus when you're on your own. And it pushes you in different ways, which I think is a really good challenge if you're not used to it, whether or not you want to compete. Because it's always good to, one, learn how to communicate with somebody in a more challenging environment, and two, to challenge your body and mind in ways that you usually don't. So I found this to be a fun opportunity. Even though I may never compete on a team with this person, I am learning from this experience. And there was a reason for us to do this as a class. One, we do work out together as a class a lot, so we could end up being together on a team again. And two, we have a team competing at semifinals who also did this workout. They're over, you can't see them on the screen, they're over on the side, but they were all working out together too, working on those same things of communicating with each other and learning where you can push each other and where you might have to wait a little bit longer and all of that. So it's definitely a different, interesting dynamic to work out partnered up with someone that you're going to compete with or not. So again, write down those calories and chipping away at these last calories. This is where you can really push at the end because it is over after this. So you have nothing left to save in the tank. You might as well just empty it here. Jump back on this bike for my last time, grinding through those calories, trying to go fast. Obviously, this looks faster than some of my other attempts on the bike earlier because it's the last one. It's it. Just got to get through this one. And then we are going to be almost done with the workout. My partner has to jump back on because he finished us off each round. We each did 2 rounds on the bike, each set. And that was our team workout. I thought it was a fun one and challenging in different ways and a good learning experience. So it's a good partner workout if you're looking for one. You can give it a try. I will put the details in the description as well as they were earlier in the video. All right, back in my car, about to head home so I can eat something, shower, and get ready for work. Oh, and take care of Carson, my dog, because he's the best. But it's always interesting doing a partner workout because it definitely changes the entire stimulus. Yes, you can only go as fast as your partner, but if your partner is going faster, you have to go faster too. And if your partner has a strength that's maybe not your strength, that sort of impacts things as well, especially with synchro movements. And also, if your partner just moves differently, that's going to impact things as well. Because my partner was more of resetting at the bottom of the deadlift each time versus touching the ground and going right back up, just kind of like using that rebound. I prefer to use that rebound and just tap the ground and then go back up. He wanted to, or just he tends to, it seems like, reset at the bottom. It might have been because we were synchroing, but then I had to reset because that's what we're doing. We're going to reset each time. We can only do what the other person does. So it's definitely interesting, and team workouts where you're actually synchronizing things are a totally different challenge and something I suggest you try if you want to do team competitions in the future, because a lot of times those things do appear. So that's something, if you're looking to try that, you should definitely integrate into your training going forward. The team, the games team, or the semifinals team, but like that's almost the games. The semifinals team that we have here, they were synchronizing all 4 of them for some of the stuff too. So it looked like at least their handstand push-ups, at least they were just doing that by mistake. But that's also something when you have a team of 4, you might have to think about synchronizing all 4 of you. All right, to home to get ready for the rest of the day. Thought I would also give you a little look at my day after all of that training when I go to work as a TV news reporter, starting my shift at 3 p.m. So eating lunch during my meeting where we're discussing stories and what I'm going to cover for the day. This is my favorite seltzer that I always drink. This is my dog, my work from home buddy. Today I was doing a little bit of work from home before I would head into the station. So most of my day was remote though. This is me working in my car, doing a Zoom interview for my story for the day. And then I headed into the city, San Francisco, where my station is located, because I was going to be doing my live hits for this story in the studio, even though I was remotely interviewing my subject. Here I am tracking my story. I usually do that. That's the voiceover portion of it on my phone. And I do all of my editing all on my own. I write it, I edit it. All of it is me. And even some other things, which you're about to see. Putting on some makeup. People think this job is a lot more glamorous than it actually is. but I do my own makeup. I do my own editing. I do a lot of my own stuff here. So getting ready to go inside and be live in studio after I touch up my makeup just a little bit and fix my hair. Okay, be right back. So after I finish interviewing people, writing the story, editing the story, I then have to front and present the story in the studio on a day like today. Sometimes I'm out in the field. Actually, most of the time I'm in the field, but stories that are remotely done, we usually go in studio to present those. So here I am getting ready to do that. After the first live hit, I will do some work in between live hits, and then I will present again, either 2 times or 3 times throughout the night, depending on the night. Sometimes it's even more. In the newsroom, Amanda Harry, Cron4 News. It always varies, but when I'm in studio, it's usually 2 to 3 times an evening, and then I go home, go to sleep, and do it all again the next day. And if you're interested in seeing some more work-life vlogs with some busier days, I will link those in the description. This was actually a relatively tame day compared to most, but I figured I'd throw it in just to give you a little look of what a day is like after all of that training when I still have to go to work. If you hung around until this point, I appreciate you all for watching. Make sure you give this video a like if you have a good time, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.